The X-Files. And yeah.
That is true.
That is true. So, you guys recently came back after quite a break of shooting the show to do 2 brand new seasons. What was it like working together after all those years? Was it like coming home to family, or was it like a totally new thing?
Coming home to the Manson family.
Yeah?
That was great. We had fun. I mean, it's already been a little while in the past, but, well, we got back together about 3 years ago now? 2.5 years? Something like that. So it's hard to remember even, but it was nice. It was very easy to get back into it that way.
Yeah, it's like, now, okay, doing these conventions, doing shows, meeting fans, do you ever get, like, people pitching crazy episodes of The X-Files for you? Like, when I got a mystery case, have any of you guys done that? No? Yes? Maybe? Do you ever get pitched? Is this awkward enough for you guys?
I'm sorry. I was distracted. What was the question? Yeah, you can use my one.
It's not working.
Here, just use this.
Wait.
Yeah, shut up.
You guys really know how to make people mad. Musical microphone. All right. I feel like I've got some enemies here, and they might be setting me up for trouble. Oh my god. So, you know what? We're going to be turning here to the audience for some questions pretty soon. Because apparently I've been doing such a great job as it is.
You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. You know, that is like the validation for my entire life's work right there. I appreciate it. No, so I was doing some reading, and I found out that you had quite a punk rock past. You know, when you were younger. And quite a... very weird. And you used to really be into punk music back in the day.
That is correct.
Some of your favorite bands, and are you still into?
No, not so much anymore. I mean, I used to go to shows in Lansing and Kalamazoo, and
We got some Michigan fans out there.
I think I saw the Butthole Surfers and the Circuit Jerks,
Yeah.
the Dead Kennedys.
All favorites. We got some
Yeah.
fans out there. Well, you know, I asked that question because, you know, as you can tell, Spooky Empire is kind of like a rock and roll horror show. We got a lot of punk fans and stuff like that. And, you know, I knew that question would be one appreciated by the crowd. And speaking of musicians, I know you're quite the touring musician yourself.
What's that, David? It's not got nothing to do with you. Oh, okay.
That was not a question.
That was a statement, but it was leading to a question. Life on the road compared to shooting movies and TV.
Shooting
like,
up.
how do you like it? Which one do you prefer?
Well, I don't know. Why do I have to prefer one or the other? I like them both. No, I think that there's a certain kind of ease when you're on location. You know,
Yeah.
you can settle it. When you're moving around playing cities, it's harder. I think it's a young man's game. I think I'm too old to do it, but I do it anyway.
And Do you have any like favorite cities that you?
Favorite cities? Can I play? Oh, I don't know. I mean, why would I single anyone out? I haven't been to Orlando. I was in Orlando, this is the truth. This is the first time I've been here in 40 years. I came here for spring training with my high school baseball team in 1977. So this is the last time. It took me a while to get back, but I'm happy to be back.
And before I throw it to the crowd, which I know you're all very excited for because I'm doing such a great job.
You're doing fine.
Now, that shirt you're wearing, very popular shirt. So I understand you're auctioning it off for charity?
I am, yeah. At the end, do you know Chili's?
Chili's, fajitas and chili. Fajitas and chili.
Do you know about those?
Mexican food.
Did you know about Chili's? You don't remember? You don't remember?
What's the?
Does the word pink ring any fuzzy and pink? No? We had sex in a Chili's booth. What? We had sex in a booth at Chili's. Yeah. Mulder and Scully. That is so.
What authority do you know this?
I read it.
It's fan fiction.
It's fan fiction. It's real. It's real.
You know a lot of X-Files fan fiction?
I'm always the last to know.
It was good for me. Even if you forget it.
Well, I'm going to be nice and I'm going to start throwing questions to the audience if you guys don't mind. So we got this microphone over here. If anybody wants to ask questions, just line up over there.
Hi, my name is Andrea. Thank you both for doing this. We're very appreciative. My question is, since you both have brought these characters alive and know them to life and know them more than anybody, when do you think, and this is for both of you or either of you, when do you think Mulder fell for Scully and Scully fell for Mulder first?
I think it was after they ate at Chili's and had
I'm still embarrassed from that last question. Gillian?
Yeah, I'd say that was probably when I started to pay attention. When I sat up and paid attention. I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. Do you guys know?
There are many stories.
In the pilot? In the pilot.
Bad blood.
Jersey Devil?
Bad blood.
Huh? No.
Well, there always seemed to be a level of chemistry between you guys. Now, just right off the bat when you met and first started filming, were you friends? Were you just, co-workers or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
We were friends and co-workers.
Friends and co-workers.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows this, but didn't you sublet or didn't you stay in my apartment for a little while when I was in?
Yeah, for 3 nights.
Only 3 nights?
Yeah. He wasn't there.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
I stayed there for free. I
It's
didn't
just
sublet.
that-
I never paid you.
I know, but I thought
He said-
that's why I bring it up.
So with interest, that comes out to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a weekend. But thanks. It's nice.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Amy,
Hi.
and my question is for Gillian. You're a feminist icon. Scully is a feminist icon. A lot of us feel the effects of the Scully effect. So I wanted to hear your thoughts about how Scully was written in season 11, and how a lot of fans who grew up watching you and are feminists now were not so happy with how things ended for Scully and how she didn't have a lot to do in season 11. So let's talk about that.
I'm not sure if it's entirely that she didn't have a lot to do. I mean, I know that there's an element of that might have been frustrating, if not infuriating, on many levels. To me, what was the most confounding was the end storyline with William and the history of Mulder and Scully and their child, etc. And so I don't really know what to say. I don't know. I'm sure as fans that must have been really frustrating. You must have felt very powerless. I think I too felt powerless. But I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. We're not mad at you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Let's get another question here.
Hi, my name is Ramona,
Hello.
and thank you both for being here, and thank you both for 25 years, 9 seasons plus 2. My question is more about the future of the industry. 10 years ago, Netflix was sort of taboo. Now it's necessary. Amazon is getting into the movie-making business as well. How does that affect you as actors? Does it make it tougher to get gigs or, jobs, whatever? Does it make it...
It just gets better and better.
Don't follow the balloon.
That's for you.
That's leaving it up in the
I
air.
think it's a long question with a long answer, I think, but I think the short answer would be that there's probably more stories being told than at any other time in show business history. You've got more venues and more people making more things. I mean, it's harder to actually get a large group of people watching one thing, but who cares about that really? There's actually more movies. Well, maybe not more movies, but more like long form series, 8 to 10 hours, these kinds of things. And it's a new kind of storytelling that when you look at like an 8-hour version of a story, as opposed to a 2-hour version of a story, as opposed to a 24-hour-a-year version of the story. So it's going to change storytelling a little bit, and that'll be interesting, because I think that there's a lot to be said for the 8 to 10-hour version of a story. I've always been confused as to why a movie is 2 hours long. When was that mandated as the perfect time to tell a story? So I think it's a good time,
Are either of you bingers? Do you binge on TV shows when they come out, or a little bit at a time?
I don't watch TV.
Hello, my name is Gina.
Hello.
Considering the many creative paths you both pursued in your careers, what professional accomplishment are you most proud of thus far?
I would say for me, I did a production of Streetcar Named Desire. I'd say that's probably at the top of my list. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and something that I wanted to do for 30 years, and so it felt like an accomplishment on many levels, and so I'd say that.
Yeah, it's hard. I really don't know how to answer that. I mean, it's like they have their own thing to them, flavor to them. But I'll say that I never thought that I would record or be involved in music at all. So when I held, an album that I did in my hands, thank you for those 3 people. It was surreal. That was not, I wouldn't say it was my biggest accomplishment, but it was the strangest accomplishment, and therefore had a certain energy to it for me.
Thank you.
Hello, how you all doing? My name is Adam, and first I just want to say two friends that couldn't make it. Their name is Connie and Bailey. They're big fans. They said sorry they couldn't make it. And second, also, we have a lot of filmmakers here. There's a film fest going on at the same time here, and it's pretty awesome. But me as a director, I kind of just wanted to ask you to, what is important on a set for you to make the production go smooth? What would you guys recommend in regards to like running a smooth set on a production?
I like it when it feels like there's somebody in control. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, and when whoever it is that is in control has an understanding that every person who's contributing has their own value, and that for whatever it's worth, that within that period of time that it's important to respect not only everybody who's there, but also the process that everybody is going through. So it's really nice when the people who are actually on the set understand that it's difficult and that focus is good and quiet is good and it's respectful to keep the noise down. But it's also nice when they understand that everybody is working really, really hard and pitching in, and that there's a sense of collaboration, that it's one whole team working together for the same end. And there's, it doesn't always feel that way, but I think that's become very important to me, that there's just a nice energy on set. Whoever's at the top, spreading that down, that there's a sense of mutual respect that's taking place.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Christine. My question is for Gillian. Have you ever considered maybe making a trilogy, a movie or mini-series or something like that, maybe starring you and David?
Trilogy of what? I'm sorry.
The books, your trilogy of books.
Oh yeah, your
Yeah,
books.
of turning it into what? Sorry?
A movie or a
It's
mini-series?
there is a production house that's had it for the last little while that is trying to turn it into a series.
Maybe starring you?
I won't be in it, no.
No?
I won't be in it.
That would be good.
There might be a part.
There you go. Thank you.
Hey, it's Teresa Ravar. Thank you both so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to come here today. We all really appreciate it. And my question is, I was batting a couple back and forth. I think I'll ask this one. So at the end of season 11, it's revealed that Mulder and Scully are going to have a second baby. What do you think they're going to name the baby? Now, if it makes it easier, the fandom seems to have agreed it's going to be a girl. Don't ask me why. We've just all agreed.
I was going to ask if we knew the sex. You don't know the sex.
Yeah, girl, no, assume it's a girl then, since that's what everybody seems
Why
to
can't we
agree.
have twins?
Some fanfic writers have said that.
Let's shoot high here.
There you go. Well, what would you name?
So what are the names of the twins?
What do you think they named?
I can only tackle one question at a time.
Okay, well, each one of you give a name then. How about that?
I don't want huh?
I'm half deaf. What was it that you just said to me?
What name?
Name the baby that doesn't exist.
Name the baby that doesn't exist that is not a twin. So if it's you're sticking with it being a single child, you want it to be a girl. Wilhelmina. Cigarette.
Have you named many hypothetical babies before? You seem very
Clearly
good.
not.
It's fiction. Name her whatever you want. I mean, it's not like she's real.
What's your name for the baby?
Lily.
Lily.
were ready with that.
The baby's name is Lily.
I'm a fanfic writer.
I
I
didn't even
can-
finish the question, so my Lily.
That was easy.
Well, now you have it decided on. So
Now we have it.
Lily.
yes.
They do? Okay.
Are we gonna fight over this?
I'm fine with Lily.
Okay.
All right, Rocket, thank you again.
So, you actors always bring part of themselves to the character in one way or another. Is there any aspect of Molly or Sculder that you personally? Scully or Mulder?
I think you just brought a little
I
bit of
think
yourself
this
to
is
that
haunted.
question.
I think this room is haunted.
I've been drinking up. But are there any aspects of the characters that you brought personally that you're most proud of? Like,
My height?
you know, I often say I wouldn't want to see her any other height as this character. You know, it's appreciated by the fans.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next question.
Let's hear it for height.
Hi there, I'm Holden from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Roswell.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, can you start again?
Yeah, I'm Holden from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and down in Roswell you have the UFO museum. And they have lots of movie paraphernalia, people who visited, but I've never seen Mulder or Scully. Any comment on that?
No, I never visited Roswell. I was asking if you ever visited Roswell, New Mexico, when they have the alien museum. Never been down there. The only time we took like a field trip was to Quantico. Remember we took a trip to Quantico?
Oh, yes.
That was maybe in the first season or
That was before we
before
started
shooting
shooting.
the season, after the pilot, yeah. So yeah, the only Mulder Scully field trip has ever been to Quantico, not to Roswell. But thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Of all the places, Quantico, you know?
Well, we're FBI agents in case you...
I'm sure there's business in like Hawaii or...
That would have been nice.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Sarah Kostecki. I study issues of gender equality and employment, and my question is for Gillian. So my question is, did you face any obstacles as a working mother on the set of The X-Files? And have you seen any improvements in your industry for working parents over time?
You know, I think overall that everybody just was extraordinary when I was pregnant, and also after my daughter was born. I think they made it, you know, as easy as it possibly could have been. And she spent pretty much every day, every hour in my trailer, and everybody was great. So. You know, but it behooved them to make it work because there was, you know, and I don't know enough about how the industry has changed just in terms of daycare or which I really don't know enough about it. But I would imagine it has, but I don't know personally. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much.
Howdy, I'm Ashley. My question is for both of you. Have either of you ever experienced anything paranormal in real life?
I so want to say yes because you look so wonderfully expectant. Nothing really to speak of or to report, but I've had moments where I think something happened and I'm not sure.
It's the unknown, you know?
Never mind.
What about like extraterrestrial life?
Yes, I have.
Would you like to share that
No,
with
it's
us?
okay. Just haunted places. Just haunted places.
Hi, my name is Candy. Well, there's an episode called Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man. You weren't in it, so you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a scene where Cancer Man's listening to Dr. King's speech against Vietnam. And that's when he decides that essentially Dr. King needs to be assassinated. And so the show portrays him as actually assassinating Dr. King. And it was kind of a weird moment for radical politics in the X-Files. Because it's one of the few moments where it's actually sort of the truth. Like, that's kind of what happened, is Dr. King started critiquing the capitalist system, and that's essentially when he was killed. And so I was curious do you feel that the show has developed any type of narrative or commentary on the deep state in general in the United States?
You're looking for conspiracies.
No, I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not. I'm just
Well,
a
there's no
lefty
such thing as a deep state. I hate to break it to you.
There isn't?
Actually, do you think that...
I bought stock in Deep State.
Do you think that maybe the show could have ever accidentally uncovered a real conspiracy and just nobody ever knows it because it was presented as entertainment?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Wasn't that the point? That was kind of the plot and the point of Darren's last episode, wasn't it? Yeah. Right?
Exactly. And next question.
Hi, my name is Zan, and my question is for both of you. What's on your bucket list?
Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yeah, I don't really have one. I think shit. I just don't think that way.
Well, what have you not done yet that you'd still like to?
I don't know. I think I've done what
You've done everything.
No, I've done everything.
Mission accomplished then. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Chris. This is for both of you. Given some of the shows that you've been in, Hannibal and of course the X-Files, what is the creepiest, strangest, most disturbing fan experience that either of you had through every
There's a naked man in the background. Do you see him?
Oh,
Is
yes.
he dressed from the waist down? Does he have clothes on from the waist down?
Oh!
Hey!
Picture show. He's got some sparkly.
Oh, he does.
Yes.
Is that Rocky? It's Rocky.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Rocky.
He almost made the list.
He almost made the list.
You know, when we first started doing the show, I would answer. I think they're playing us off. I think it's time to
I
go.
wonder if we summon Jumanji or something into the Congo.
Used to get some. At first, I would get fan mail, and I would actually answer it or try to read it and answer it. It was manageable. There was so little of it in the beginning, and I thought it was my responsibility to actually take it home on the weekends and answer it. So I tried to do that for a little while. And I would, it was really the first show, the X-Files was really the first show to say that these conspiracies were real and say that aliens were real and all that stuff, and take it seriously in the real world. So there was a lot of people, at least it seemed to me, I would get these letters, people that would really be telling me about their experiences with abduction and things like that. And it was very troubling and it's often sad and very heavy. And I stopped reading all the letters, but I'll never forget that feeling that people were really wanting to reach out about certain things that happened in their very real lives, to them. And that always struck me as the strangest fan interaction that was in the very beginning.
Did you keep any of them?
I did not.
Any for you or none? Just the naked man?
What?
I guess the naked man in the back is your...
Struggling so hard.
Oh, yes, he...
Sorry, it's really bad. Oh, it was my strangest fan experience, yes. That's the extent of it.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Savannah. I'm from Michigan, and I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you for taking time away from your families to be here and to film for us. And you've been putting more heart and soul into these characters longer than I've been alive. So, and you're still inspiring girls like me every day. So thank you very much. I think I speak for everyone here.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Lucy, and I came with a bunch of people all the way from Mexico just for this event. Yeah. So my question is for Gillian. From a feminist perspective or equality perspective, do you think that if Scully left a lot of herself or her career aside from Mulder, do you think that was right from, nowadays? Like she...
Did you understand that?
Like from a feminist perspective, do you think Scully left a lot of things aside for a guy, for Mulder?
I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I mean, for a long time, it was her job.
Yeah.
Her job was to watch over him. Make sure he was behaving himself.
Yeah.
No, but they were. I mean, for the majority of the series, they were partners. I think there was only a period at the end where, after they, stopped being a part of the X-Files and they were cohabitating, and then not cohabitating.
Yeah.
That there might have been a question as to whether, how she was, what the decisions were that she was making. But I don't see it. I don't see any issue there. Is there any problem? Anybody else want to go?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, I think she pretty much followed her path.
Yeah. And that's why she's a role model, so thank you so much. Thank you both.
Do you guys prefer them as a couple or separate?
Yeah.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Allison, and I just want to say that I've been watching you guys since episode 1 aired when I was 12, and I'm a huge fan, and I love you, and my wife has a question.
Hi, name's Sid. First I want to say you guys are the fucking tits. You're awesome. And then my question is that you guys probably heard this a billion times, but because I am an independent filmmaker, I want this only for me. What's the hardest part about getting into character, if there is any?
Well, I think for me it was always, you don't have to believe in aliens to play Mulder. It's not like to kind of psych yourself into believing that this stuff is true, that I'm saying is true.
Right.
But it was more, it was always, it seemed at the beginning at least, it was always like on the Mulder character, like drive the story, because he had this roadblock here, it was saying no, and I had to drive, and it was just like, it was like an energetic thing, which doesn't come naturally. I'm not a naturally energetic person in that way. So it was always like just to get that energy up of a guy who's everybody's going to say no to. So I mean, personally, I'd be like, oh no, okay, all right, cool, I'll stop. But Mulder wasn't like that. So it was like it wasn't really to believe in those things or to make believe I believe in those things. It was more like keep pushing, keep driving.
Awesome, thank you. What about you? I'd love to hear from you.
My first thought in hearing your question was about the struggle that I had in getting back into Scully, an older version of Scully, and what, I'm trying to figure out what aspects of her would remain, realizing how much of her, how much youth there was in her and the way that she, and in her personality, and to what degree does that translate into a mature woman? And how much am I bringing of my own life experience unnecessarily that's different from what's transpired for her? Is that figuring all that out, and so and also not knowing or having guidance about really what happened between the last time that we saw them and where we were now seeing them and how that would impact So it's all
awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. You guys have a good time. Thanks.
I love you.
Hello, I have a question for David. Regarding filming Californication, what was it like capturing the essence of portraying a writer? Because I always thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, there's probably nothing more boring to watch than a writer writing or maybe a painter painting. I mean, it's not a very dramatic situation to think about. So, the idea in Californication, it was a writer's fantasy. It was the creator, Tom Kapanos, he said to me, I have a fantasy in which a writer is irresistible to women because he writes, and it was a writer's fantasy. It's like in a world where writing actually turns women on. That was his whole idea, and so that was the idea of Tom's fantasy for the show. Because to portray a writer writing is probably the most dismal, most undramatic thing you can do. But he had a certain kind of verbal energy, and I think that was part and parcel of his ability to write, I guess.
All right, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the con.
Okay, now we're coming up towards the end, so let's get some really great final questions here. There's a lot of pressure on you.
Hi, David. Hi, Gillian. My name is Melissa. Quick question. You guys both had some of your family involved in the show. How did that go, and did they enjoy it?
Oh, they loved it. No, they really, especially one of them, really loved it. I don't think either of them are going to pursue it, but he had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great to have my daughter on set, and I was really, I was very nervous to watch her and also to work with her. I was extremely nervous just being in the scene with her, and I was embarrassed about how nervous I was. I didn't want to make her nervous. But it was kind of a beautiful full circle for me, because she was born in '99, which is like in the middle of the run. Just to have her growing up and doing really nice work on the set like that was satisfying for me and very moving.
Thank you very much.
Hey guys, my name's Jack, and my question is for Gillian. I actually loved your character on Hannibal, and I was just wondering what your experience was like working on that show.
What it was like working on the show?
Yeah.
The stuff that I needed to do, I could fly into Toronto and do it in an afternoon. I could do 3 episodes in an afternoon or in 2 days or something, until we got to Italy. So it really felt like it was its own little oasis, and most of it was just sitting across the chair from Maz. And so it was awesome. He's a wonderful actor to work with, and it was interesting to work on a character in that way. It is only characterization. It's just all about the relationship between these two people. And so it felt like a really special little project, and then obviously it turned into something else entirely. But Brian's a good friend of mine, and I think he's very talented, and I can't wait to see what he's up to and what he's going to do next. And really grateful that there are so many Fanimals out there, because
I love the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pat Greco, and I am the girl's
biggest fan. I've heard two of you. I have a question first for David. Are you ever going to be able to debunk the theory that the cigarette man is actually your father? And what took you so long to notice Scully had her haircut?
He is my father, isn't he? Why would I debunk it? I think he is my father.
Oh, I don't want to believe that, so you have to
Okay,
come up with something.
I have to debunk it for you.
You're good.
Okay, I'll work on that.
And how about her hair?
The joke about the hair was that I needed glasses in that episode, and then I finally, the joke is that I couldn't see well enough to see that she got a haircut. And so we kind of came up with that on the day when we had the new glasses, because that was, the joke of that episode was that Mona needed glasses. I don't know if it ever paid off, but that was the joke.
Thanks so much. Have a great, great time. Bye.
Okay, and I've been told that that unfortunately is the last question we have time for. But I know everybody was super excited and appreciative to see this Q&A panel here today.
Thank you all for coming out.
One thing I was wondering, will we be able to get a selfie here with the crowd behind us?
Yeah, wait, we can do that, and then I'm going to auction this t-shirt. But you can go, David, if you want to go. I might have you to sign the t-shirt, though, before you go.
Selfie of everyone holding up their phones.
Yep. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on, everybody.
Is there anybody who's interested in bidding on the t-shirt that I'm wearing? Can you sign this? Can you sign it on the chili? Leave room for me. Okay, so thank you. You can go now. You don't have to stay. Bye, dear. Can so I haven't done this in a while, but one of the charities that I do some work for is a charity that I co-founded called Say Yes, which is South Africa Youth for Education and Sustainability. And it's a mentor-mentee program in Cape Town that is really changing people's lives. And we're constantly in need of funds, and there's actually been a few times when we thought we might need to fold. But we're still hanging in there. And so I thought that today I would auction, well, we'll see what your enthusiasm is. I'll start with this shirt, and then there's another shirt too. But I think it would probably go quicker if I start with $100. Is anybody interested in bidding on this chili shirt for, you got, okay, $200? Okay, we got a few 200s. Should I just, does somebody want to throw out a number and then we can go out from there so this just doesn't take $400? Yeah, we got a 4. What? $500. 600. $1,000. This is so much quicker. $1,000. Anybody higher than 1,000?
Going once.
$1,200. $1,200. Anybody? It smells. You'll be happy. It already smells. I'm gonna sign it, and I'll take a picture of you with it. $1,500. I mean, it really smells. $1,500. Anybody want to go higher than 15? $1,800. $2,000. I like how this is going. $2,000 to the left. What's your name? Sandy? Mandy? Candy! Your name's Candy. Candy's bidding for $2,000. and $2,000. $2,100? $2,100? $2,100. What's your name? Melissa. Melissa V's Candy. Sorry? $2,500. You'll pay $2,100 for this one, and she can have this one for $25? I think that's a deal. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you. Candy and Melissa, can you join me backstage, please?